Anyway, I got a DM that intrigued me. Very few DMs actually raised my hackles, but this one did. This youngster, young enthusiast, 21 years old, comes right out of the gates and shares with me that he has a cold approach addiction, which made me fucking laugh out loud when I heard it. I almost fucking closed the message. But I read a little further, and this guy goes on to tell me that he has cold approached 150 women in the last week. It's all he does. He gets up early, goes out, and just fires missiles at women. He's 21. And he tells me that he's the freest he's ever been in his entire life. He's riveted. This is like the most exhilarating thing he's ever fucking done, is mustering up the courage every day to just talk. And he claims that he's talking to the prettiest women that he can find. And this guy's just roaming the fucking streets, dropping missiles. Now, I love guys like this. Of course I do. But he goes on a very long-winded story. And, you know, these types of messages, it's a fucking blue moon that I ever even bother to reply. But I could just tell from the spirit in which he was writing this to me that this motherfucker was riding some kind of fucking wave and he needed some guidance. And so the first thing I asked him, because it did pique my curiosity, I said, share with me, out of 150 cold approaches, how many you hit? Like, I was really curious. How many have you bagged approaching 150 women? And this dude gets raw with me, which I respected even more. And he's like, Brood, I haven't hit a single one. He's like, I'm zero. I'm 0 for 150. Fucking 0. And immediately, I start stitching together the psychology behind this. The psychology behind this little tirade this guy's on. Look, listen, here's what happens, okay? Addiction to failure is a real thing. It's a real thing. You see it in sales. You see it there's a lot of modalities where people get addicted to the process. People cleave on to the process, and there's comfort in guaranteed failure. And if someone is approaching 150 women, I don't give a fuck if you're that little hunchback from 300 with that little fucking shield and that little broadsword. If you're some fucking gangly looking motherfucker. If you're approaching 150 women, you should be hitting one. So I came to the conclusion, and this was instantaneous, this fell upon me from the heavens, that this guy is purposely failing. Like, there's a part of him that doesn't want to succeed because there's a guaranteed safety net and there's comfort in knowing that essentially he's rolling into things and this guy's on a kamikaze mission, is what I want to tell you. It's almost like a suicide mission. Like, it makes him feel alive when he rolls up to a woman way out of his league and gets his fucking head blown off. This motherfucker, all his hormones are fucking charging, secreting out of every fucking pore. And if you're paying attention and you're familiar with my work, you probably know where I'm going with this. There is the point of the process, any process that you find yourself mired in, the point is obviously always to win, right? And the thing with women that a lot of guys truly don't understand is there's an upper crest. There's an upper tier, an upper antechamber, which once you breach this particular tier, and it's a status thing. It's 100%. This guy's low status. Okay, that's his problem. He's low status. He's 21. Doesn't have a fucking penny to his name. Doesn't have a body of work. Doesn't even know who the fuck he is. Okay, But he's getting his rocks off by this little game he's playing with himself. And here's the reality. When you ever try to make a science and you try to isolate and make a science out of an entire portfolio of knowledge and wisdom that should just be naturally ingrained in a winning process, you are cutting off your nose to spite your face. That's what you're doing. In other words, anytime you boil down the science of picking up women or you isolate that factor and you become a pickup artist, you label yourself as a guy who has to get women, you are pointing the blade. You are poising the blade at your own heart. Because like I just said, in the upper crest, the upper echelons of life, the rules of engaging and picking up women are 100% inverted, which means there is no pickup at the top. When you are a high status, powerful man, women approach you. You are roaming around town, doing whatever the fuck you want to do. And these things manifest organically. It's an afterthought. Do you understand? There is zero intentional curation. And I'm here to tell you that the longest standing relationships on planet Earth all have that nature in common, which is that the meeting was serendipitous, it was benevolent, and it was organic. There was no orchestration. Do you understand? So the success level, what this motherfucker really needed to do was he needed to get more time in building himself, right? He needs a fucking skill set. He needs to fucking grow. He needs to move out the fuck out of his hometown. I just made a tweet a couple hours ago. Those with a keen eye, with a sharpshooter eye, saw what I said. I said, your home, wherever you start, like the hometown that you were born in, that's a failed start for a man. I don't give a fuck if you're born on Star Island. Your hometown that you were born in is a failed start because it is a rite of passage. Every man has a duty to move out, start from scratch when you're a fucking nobody and turn yourself into a somebody. That's actually how you get confidence. That's how you get confidence. And I went on to say that indulging in the process of moving should also not be done too often because it's similar to taking a psychedelic. You take too much psychedelics, you take too many, and there's no links that form anymore. Do you understand? You're just a blob. You're a blob of a human being getting kicked around. And so that's what this motherfucker needs to do. He needs to uproot himself and he needs to get more life experience, and women need to be drawn to him through osmosis. There is a level in the upper echelons. I've reached this, okay? I'm telling you, the high percentage shots is when life gets real fun. When you have enough life experience and you are so adept because you've seen everything, you understand human psychology, you pick up the fucking cues. I cannot remember the last time when I was younger when I approached a woman and got blown out of a set. There was I went on like a 2-year stretch where every single one that I did choose, it was a fucking make. It was a fucking slam dunk. Because you just sort of get this repertoire, you get this natural wisdom, this natural understanding of the signals and the cues. Like you just know you can predict it. There's like a precognition. You just know exactly how this is going to play out. You know what she's going to say. You know what you're going to say. It's already fucking chamber loaded, ready to rock and roll. And then it's just fucking easy. Life gets super fucking easy at that point. You know what I mean? Then you're using the sniper. You're using the fucking lethal sniper instead of that shotgun grape shot approach, which is what Old Boy was doing. But Old Boy has a psychological issue with the addiction to the process and failure. And you see this in sales too. There's a lot of guys who are, look, if you have to cold call hundreds of times a day, hundreds of fucking times a day, you have no leverage. You know what I mean? Like that is the bottom of the barrel strategy. That's the fucking sludge at Arco. That is like literal fucking 87 gasoline. You're gonna choke your fucking fuel line eventually. We all know this. We all know this subconsciously. We all know some people are playing a very different game. Where the clients, the gravitas, the magnetic field, people just gravitate to them. And that's really where you want to be. And you want to make women, you never want to make women the primary function. They should be tailing along as you are sojourning through life. You know what I'm saying? Your train is bulldozing. And if they want to hop on the fucking caboose, then they can. But that window needs to be very short because men keep it moving. Men fucking keep it moving. Another thing, this guy, you know, archetypically, there's some strengths here. And I think this is what drew me to the message. The guy has balls. He's got 90% of it right there. He's got courage, right? But there's a nuance to this. And I want you guys to understand, when you intentionally embark on quests that are so difficult, way above your pay grade, that you literally, you know for a fact you ain't gonna hit it, okay? Because it's just way over your head.